There's a reason your dreams were given to you and not to someone else. The vision in your heart is unique, something only you can see in its fullness. But too often we make the mistake of sharing our plans too soon, telling family, friends, co-workers, or even people who don't have our best interests at heart. We expect support, encouragement, maybe even excitement, but instead we're met with skepticism, doubt, or indifference. Not everyone will understand what you're trying to accomplish. They may not mean to discourage you, but because they don't have the same vision, they can't see what you see. It's like trying to explain a sunrise to someone who has never opened their eyes in the morning. No matter how vividly you describe it, they just won't get it. You tell someone, I'm starting my own business. They respond, are you sure that's a good idea? The economy is rough right now. You say, I'm going back to school to get my degree. They say, that's going to take years. Are you really ready for that kind of commitment? You share, I'm believing for something big this year, and they laugh and say, that sounds impossible. Before you know it, you start questioning yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm thinking too big. Maybe I should wait. But here's the truth. You don't need their validation. You don't need them to believe in you, because when God puts a dream inside of you, he also gives you the ability to carry it out. It may not make sense to others, and that's okay. The vision wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Think about Joseph in the Bible. As a young man, he had dreams of greatness, dreams that one day he would be in a position of leadership and influence. But what did he do? He told his brothers about his dreams. Instead of celebrating with him, they resented him. They were jealous, and their jealousy led them to betray him. They threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and tried to destroy his destiny. Joseph's mistake wasn't having big dreams, it was sharing them with the wrong people. If he had kept his vision to himself and focused on growing, preparing, and trusting in God's timing, maybe his journey would have looked a little different. The same principle applies to us today. There are people in your life who aren't ready to hear what you're believing for. Some will misunderstand, some will doubt, and some will even try to discourage you. Not because they're bad people, but because they're operating from their own experiences, fears, and limitations. You might be talking to someone who has never taken a risk in their life. So when you tell them about your plans to step out in faith, they won't understand. You might be talking to someone who has tried and failed. So when you tell them about your goal, they project their own disappointment onto you. That's why it's so important to protect your dreams. Keep them close. Guard them like a precious seed that hasn't yet broken through the soil. If you expose a seed too soon, it won't survive. It needs time to take root, to grow strong before it's ready to face the elements. Your dreams are the same way. Before you tell the world what you're going to do, give yourself time to build, to strengthen your foundation, to take the steps necessary to bring that vision to life. Because when the time is right, when you've put in the work and you've stepped into your blessing, you won't have to explain yourself. You won't have to convince anyone. Your success will speak for itself. So as you step into 2025, be mindful of who you share your plans with. Some dreams require silence. Some seasons require privacy. It's not about secrecy, it's about wisdom. Move in silence, work in faith, and trust that when the moment is right, God will reveal everything in his perfect timing. And when he does, you won't need to announce it. The world will see it for themselves. There's something powerful about keeping your plans to yourself. Too often we feel the need to announce our goals, to share what we're about to do, as if speaking it out loud will make it happen faster. But the truth is, talking about your plans can actually slow you down. When you share your dreams prematurely, you open the door to opinions, doubts, and distractions that can take your focus away from the work that needs to be done. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a fresh start, Maybe you've set a big goal for 2025. You're starting a business, changing careers, getting in the best shape of your life, or stepping into something new. The moment that dream is placed in your heart, there's an urge to tell people about it. You want to hear their encouragement, their support, their validation. But here's the danger. Once you start talking about it, a part of you begins to feel like you've already accomplished something. Studies show that when you talk about your goals, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel good. Just by saying, I'm going to start a business this year, you get a sense of accomplishment, as if you've already taken a step forward. But in reality, nothing has happened yet. The hard work hasn't begun. The real effort is still ahead of you. That's why so many people get stuck in the talking phase. They tell everyone what they're going to do, but when the excitement wears off, they lose the motivation to actually do it. Instead of announcing your next move, channel that energy into action. Let your silence be your strategy. There's something about moving in private that creates momentum. When you're not focused on explaining yourself to others, you have more mental space to focus on the steps that actually matter. Think about an architect designing a skyscraper. Before the world ever sees the finished building, there's a season of planning, drafting, and laying the foundation. If the architect announced the project before securing permits, hiring a team, or making sure the ground was solid, the whole thing would be at risk of falling apart. The same principle applies to your life. Before you start announcing your plans, make sure your foundation is strong. Make sure you're laying the groundwork in private so that when you do step forward, you're ready for it. There's also a spiritual principle to moving in silence. When you keep your plans between you and God, you invite Him to guide your steps without outside interference. The scriptures tell us that what we do in secret will be rewarded openly. That means the late nights, the early mornings, the unseen effort, all of it will be revealed in due time. But if you expose your plans too soon, you run the risk of attracting unnecessary opposition. Not everyone needs to know what you're working on. Some people will support you, but others, whether intentionally or unintentionally, may slow you down. They may plant seeds of doubt, make you second guess yourself, or even discourage you from moving forward. That's why it's crucial to protect your dreams in their early stages. Have you ever noticed that the most successful people don't talk about what they're going to do, they just do it? They don't make big announcements before the work is done. They let their results speak for themselves. That's the mindset you need going into 2025. Instead of looking for applause before the journey even begins, commit to the process in silence. Let the discipline of your actions be greater than the noise of your words. There's something powerful about surprising people with what you've accomplished rather than telling them what you plan to do. When you show up already successful, already transformed, already stepping into your blessing, people won't be able to deny the work you've put in. And the best part, you won't have wasted any energy trying to convince them along the way. So as you step into this new year, make a decision. This is the year you move in silence. This is the year you stop seeking validation and start trusting the process. This is the year you let your actions speak louder than your words. When the time is right, the world will see what you've been working on. Until then, keep your head down, stay focused, and watch how far you go. Not everyone who hears your dreams will celebrate them. Not everyone who listens to your goals will encourage you. Some people, even those closest to you, will unintentionally speak words that plant seeds of doubt in your heart. Not because they are bad people, but because they are looking at your dreams through the lens of their own experiences, their own fears, and their own limitations. You tell them you want to start a business and they remind you of the risks. You tell them you're believing for a breakthrough and they question if it's realistic. You tell them you're stepping out in faith and they warn you about failure. Little by little, these voices, whether they mean to or not, can discourage you from pursuing what's in your heart. Before you even take the first step, you start to wonder, am I really capable? Do I have what it takes? Maybe they're right. Maybe I should wait. This is why you have to be careful who you share your plans with. The wrong voices can slow you down. The wrong opinions can shake your confidence. And if you're not careful, you'll let someone else's doubts become your own. People can only advise you from their level of understanding. If someone has never built a business, how can they truly understand your desire to be an entrepreneur? If they've never taken a leap of faith, how can they encourage you to step out of your comfort zone? That's why some people will always play it safe. They've never seen what's possible beyond their own fears. And if you let them, they'll try to place those same fears on you. There's a story in the Bible about David, a young shepherd boy who felt called to fight Goliath. When he told people about his plan, even his own family tried to talk him out of it. His older brother questioned him, "Why are you here? You don't belong on the battlefield." King Saul told him he was too young, too inexperienced, that Goliath was too big. But David didn't listen. He didn't let their doubts stop him. If he had, he never would have stepped into his destiny. He never would have defeated Goliath, never would have become king. Imagine if David had taken their words to heart. Imagine if he had let their doubts make him doubt himself. He would have gone back to the fields, back to his sheep, and never discovered the greatness inside of him. The same is true for you. If you listen to the wrong voices, you can miss out on the destiny God has prepared for you. That's why you have to be selective about who you allow to speak into your life. Some people will pour into you, but others will drain you. Some will encourage you, but others will discourage you. It's not always intentional. Sometimes people truly believe they're helping you by bringing you back to reality, but their reality is not your reality. Just because they can't see it doesn't mean it won't happen for you. There will always be people who try to impose their limits on you. People who tell you that what you're believing for is too big, too impossible, but their words don't define your future. Their doubts don't determine your destiny. This is why it's so important to keep certain dreams to yourself. When you're in the early stages of something new, when your faith is still growing, you don't need negativity clouding your mind. You don't need people telling you why it won't work. Instead, you need to protect your vision, nurture it, and build it up until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Think about a small flame. It's fragile in the beginning. A single gust of wind can put it out. But if you protect it, shield it, let it grow, eventually it becomes a blazing fire that nothing can stop. Your dream is the same way. In its early stages, it's vulnerable. The wrong words, the wrong voices, the wrong influences can extinguish it before it even has a chance to burn bright. That's why you don't have to share everything with everyone. Not everyone deserves access to your plans. Not everyone is meant to know what's in your heart. Some things are between you and God. Some battles are meant to be fought in silence. Some victories are meant to be revealed only when they're fully formed. When you move in silence, when you keep your plans protected, you give yourself the space to grow without outside interference. You give yourself the freedom to move forward without needing constant approval. And when the time is right, when you've done the work, when you've stepped into what God has called you to do, then the world will see what you've been building all along. Until then, guard your dreams, protect your vision. Don't let the wrong voices slow you down, because what's ahead of you is far greater than anything behind you. Keep moving forward and watch how everything falls into place. You don't have to announce your dreams. Your success will speak for itself. Too often we feel the need to tell people what we're about to do, as if saying it out loud will validate the dream. We want people to be excited for us, to believe in what we're working toward. But the truth is, the most powerful way to prove yourself is not through words, it's through action. When you let your results do the talking, you eliminate the need for approval. You stop looking for validation. Stop worrying about who believes in you, and instead focus on what truly matters, doing the work. Have you ever noticed that the people who talk the most about their plans are often the ones who never follow through? They announce big things. They make bold declarations, but when the time comes to take action, nothing happens. They get caught up in the excitement of saying it, but never take the steps to actually make it happen. On the other hand, the people who achieve the most don't spend time explaining what they're going to do. They don't seek permission or try to convince people to believe in them. They move in silence, stay focused, and let the results be their proof. Think about an artist working on a masterpiece. In the early stages, the canvas looks unfinished, messy, unpolished. If they were to show it too soon, people might criticize it, question their vision, or fail to see the beauty taking shape. But when the artist waits until the masterpiece is complete, when they unveil the finished work, suddenly everyone understands. The same people who doubted in the beginning now admire what has been created. Your dreams are the same way. If you share them too soon, people may not understand. They may criticize your progress, question your ability, or make you feel like you're not doing enough. But if you wait, if you put in the work, stay committed and focus on the process, when the time is right, people will see exactly what you've been building all along. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to convince people that you're capable. Your results will do that for you. When you walk into a room changed, when your life starts to reflect the work you've been putting in, when you've reached that goal, there won't be a need for explanation. Success has a way of silencing doubt. When you achieve what others thought was impossible, when you step into the blessing that was meant for you, suddenly the same people who question you will be the ones asking how you did it. And the beauty of letting your results speak for themselves is that it protects your energy. Instead of wasting time trying to explain, trying to get people on board with your vision, you get to keep all that energy for what really matters, growing, improving, and becoming everything you were meant to be. There's a story in the Bible about Nehemiah, a man who had a vision to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. He didn't go around trying to convince people that it was possible. He didn't waste time arguing with his critics. Instead, he kept his head down and did the work. And when the walls were rebuilt, when his vision became reality, there was no need for him to say anything. His results spoke for themselves. The same will happen for you. When you stay focused, when you commit to the process, when you keep your vision between you and God, there will come a moment when the world sees what you've been building. And when that moment comes, you won't have to explain yourself. You won't have to justify your journey, because the proof will be right in front of them. So as you step into 2025, make this the year you move in silence. Make this the year you stop looking for approval, stop seeking validation, and start trusting the process. Keep your head down, stay focused, and remember, when the time is right, your success will speak louder than words ever could. There's a reason why certain seasons of your life require privacy. When you are in the process of building something, whether it's a dream, a goal, or a new chapter in your life, there are moments when you need to work in silence, away from the noise, away from distractions, and away from the opinions of others. Because if you expose your plans too soon, you risk attracting unnecessary battles, criticism, and resistance that can slow you down. When you keep your plans private, you allow yourself to grow without interference. You give yourself the freedom to make mistakes, adjust your strategy, and learn along the way without the pressure of other people watching your every move. Too often, people reveal their dreams before they've had a chance to fully develop. They get excited about a new idea, a new opportunity, a new season, and they rush to share it with others. But what they don't realize is that when they expose their vision too early, they invite unnecessary opposition. They open the door to doubt, negativity, and distractions that can shake their confidence. Not everyone who hears about your plans will support you. Some people will try to talk you out of it, not because they don't love you, but because they don't see what you see. They haven't been given the same vision, so they can't fully understand it. And then there are others, people who may not have your best interests at heart, who will try to discourage you, not because they think you'll fail, but because they are afraid you'll succeed. Have you ever noticed that the moment you start making progress, the moment you begin to grow, some people around you start acting differently? They were comfortable when you were struggling, but now that you're stepping into something greater, they don't know how to handle it. This is why you have to be selective about who you allow into your inner circle. Some people are meant to walk with you, while others are only meant to watch from a distance. Some will encourage you, while others will only drain your energy. There's a story in the Bible about Jesus healing a blind man. Before performing the miracle, Jesus took the man by the hand and led him outside of the village, away from the crowd. Why? Because not everyone was meant to witness that moment. Not everyone was meant to see what was about to happen. Some people in that village had doubt in their hearts. Some had skepticism. And Jesus understood that sometimes in order to do something great, you have to step away from the noise, away from the doubters, and create an environment where faith can thrive. The same applies to your journey. If you share your plans with people who don't believe in you, their doubt can affect you more than you realize. You may be strong in your faith, but when you constantly hear negativity, when you're constantly questioned, when people continuously remind you of what could go wrong, it begins to plant seeds of doubt in your own mind. That's why moving in silence is so important. When you keep your plans between you and God, you give yourself the space to build without distraction. You allow your dreams to take root, to grow stronger, to develop into something unshakable. Think about a tree. It doesn't grow overnight. It starts as a seed buried deep in the soil, hidden from the world. Before it ever breaks through the surface, it spends time developing strong roots underground, anchoring itself so that when it finally emerges, it can withstand the wind, the storms, and the challenges that come its way. Your dreams are the same way. Before they are ready to be seen, they need time to develop. They need time to grow strong so that when they are finally revealed, nothing can shake them. So as you step into 2025, make a decision to move differently. Don't feel the need to announce everything you're working on. Don't seek validation from people who aren't meant to understand your journey. Keep your plans between you and God. Trust the process and focus on doing the work. Because when the time is right, when your vision has fully developed, when you have stepped into everything God has prepared for you, there won't be a need for explanations. Your success will speak for itself. And the same people who doubted, questioned, or misunderstood will have no choice but to acknowledge what God has done in your life. Until then, stay quiet, stay focused, and keep building. Your time is coming.